it's Fancy Rebel back again with another video. And as you can tell by this week's title, I got some news. So if you guys watched my I'm back video, you'll know that I stated in there that I was applying for a dental hygiene program and I was waiting to find out if I get accepted, and I would do a video showing you guys if I got in or not, or whether or not I made it or not. I'd make a video. So originally I wanted to make a video of me opening the letter or the email saying that I got accepted or I didn't get accepted, but it didn't happen that way because they called me and I had no idea what they were calling for, because let me tell you, this process has been so long. So I wasn't sure if they were calling because they needed more information or anything like that. I had no idea, so I didn't have time to record my reaction. So yes, I got accepted and I started this fall. So this video is going to let you guys know how I did it, okay? And if you guys are interested in this video, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and come join the team and keep watching. All right, so this is how it worked for me, okay? My school, I first contacted them, just like I guess if you go to the school and you put what you want to do. For dental hygiene programs and probably nursing too, I don't know, but you don't just apply for the program, you know what I mean? You apply and then somebody calls you and contacts you to let you know all the steps you need to actually maybe get in, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I did that. I got a call like instantly while I was at work when I was still in the military, and then we talked about my next steps. So one of the steps for my program, I can't state for everybody's program, so this is just my experience, so take it with a grain of salt because every program is pretty different, okay? So with my program, my next step was I had to do like some informational briefing. So it was like where they talk about the school and all that requires you while you're in the program, like all the classes you might be taking, the steps you have to do while you're in it, the graduation process, all of that, okay? So they were talking about that, and then all the steps I need to take to actually get an interview so I could get into the program, possibly. So I did that first, and then my next step was to take 2 tests. So I had to take one called the Wonderlic test, and it's like an 8-minute test to see how well you do with like vocabulary, math, and arithmetic, I believe. Can't really remember. But it's like 30 questions, and you have to have at least 18 correct to pass. And you only get 8 minutes. And it's proctored. Because everything's COVID right now, so we weren't doing it in person, so yes, everything's proctored. And I'm gonna tell you, I was hella nervous. I'm a very, very, very horrible test taker because I have the worst test anxieties, okay? I should take meds for it. I really should go get it looked at, because I second guess myself. I freak out, like, and I look at the clock, and then I look at what my test is, and I'm like, fuck, I don't think I can do this. But anyways, so I took the test, and then automatically my brain just thinks, oh, you automatically failed. Like, I failed. I know I studied, but I know I failed. That's just how my brain thinks, and I hate it. But I got a call the next day or so, and then they told me, oh, you passed. I was like, oh shit, I did? And they were like, yeah, you actually scored higher than most people do. And I'm like, what? I thought I failed. They're like, no, nowhere near failed. You're good. So the next step would be to take the 3-hour test now, and it's called an Acuplacer test. My school does this for any program you go into, and it's just to see where you're going to be at for their school, whether you need to take remedial classes or you can just start right away with regular classes that everybody else would be taking. And for my program, you cannot do remedial classes because this program is a accelerated program. It's 20 months long. Most dental hygiene programs are 24 months. Some are 3 years because I think the first year you're doing prerequisites. So yes, that's another thing. My program has no prereqs. No prereqs whatsoever. You can start right after high school pretty much. And if you want to know how I found the school, really it was just researching what dental schools do not have prereqs, because I don't feel like wasting a year or two doing these classes just to see if I get in or if I don't. I'd rather just know right away if I'm gonna get in or I don't. Let's not waste time and money on these prereq classes, okay? So this school, there's only 2 schools here in New York that don't do prereqs, and it's my school and NYU. NYU just costs a lot of money, okay? And I didn't have $156,000 to do the school. But yeah, anyway, so that's how I found my school. And there are other schools too. So if you guys are in the West, there are schools like Pima Institute and Concord, and though this video is not sponsored by anyway, but I looked into those schools too because I was living in the West, and just in case I decided to move back and if I didn't get accepted here, those were schools I was looking at. So those don't require any prereqs. So if you're over there, look into it. I know somebody who goes to one in Concord in San Antonio and didn't have to do any prereqs. I know somebody who did Pima in Houston, no prereqs. So yeah, go ahead and look into that. But back to it. So my school has no prereqs, which is great for me. So basically all those classes that you would do during prereqs, you're actually doing in the program. That's the difference. I'm not saying that you're not gonna take those classes, you are. You're just gonna do it in the program. So yeah. My next step was that Occuplacer test, and I don't remember the score you needed to pass, but I do know that you get a second try if you fail. Thankfully for me, I didn't fail. I passed again. I think there was only one section that like I passed by barely, but I passed. And then some of the one sections like I passed by a lot. But yeah, so that was the next step. And after that step, like you don't have to do them in order, it just has to be done by a certain time frame. So for me, since I'm doing it for the fall, all my stuff had to be done by March 15th. That was the deadline. And then another thing I had to do for mine, like when I tell you this process is long, this is why this video is all over the place, is because it's a lot. So they needed me to do, I needed 2 letters of recommendation, and it didn't have to be from a college or anything like that. It can be from anybody. So since I was already a dental assistant in the Air Force, I chose the doctors that I worked with and the dental hygienist that I worked with there to do it for me. So I had like 5 letters of recommendation, but they only needed 2. So I just picked the one that seemed to fit best for my application process. So I did that. They need a resume, an up-to-date resume. So honestly, yeah. I've only had 2 jobs my whole life. I know. The first job was right after high school. I worked for a college, and then a year later, I joined the military. That was it. So I've only ever had 1 interview my whole life. So writing the resume for that, I was like, oh shit. The only resume I've ever written in my life is the one for high school. So I don't know what I'm doing. So if you need help with those, don't be afraid to ask like a peer whom, you know, obviously probably has many jobs throughout their lives, so I'm pretty sure they have a resume. Ask them. That's what I did. I asked my friends, I asked my brother, I asked my mom, just so I can get some baseline of what a resume is supposed to look like. So that's what I did. And I was just plugging all, obviously, my own information. And then they also needed a dental hygiene statement. So a personal statement just stating why you want to be a dental hygienist. And it was a 1-page, or no, it was a 2-page, was it 2? 1 or 2? I think it was 2 pages. 2-page essay on why I wanted to be a dental hygienist. So did that, and obviously they liked it. They also need all of your transcripts, high school, colleges that you've gone to transcripts. Turn that in. They needed your social security card, like a picture of it. They needed your high school diploma. They needed also the high school transcript with it. They needed your birth certificate or a passport. They needed tax statements, past tax statements for 2 years. Oh no, they needed a past one and a present one. They needed, what else did they need? Your driver's license or state ID. They needed your health records because you have to have at least Hep B shots and all those. Because this field, you're dealing with a lot of aerosols and droplets, so you're more susceptible to getting Hep B. So that's why they want you to have all those vaccinations. They also needed, what else they need? Oh yeah, for my school, we had to write a 1-paragraph statement as saying why we wanted to be in the school. Not necessarily just the program, but the school itself. But I think that's just my school. Like I said, this is my journey. I think that was it. I could be lying, because like I said, it was a lot of stuff they were asking for. Yeah, so then after all of that went through, as long as I passed that 3-hour test, then I was able to do my interview. And on top of it, I had to have all those other things I just told you about. Had to be already put in before I could do it. So in my interview process, like I said, I've only had one interview my whole life. So this was actually really nerve-wracking. I thought I wasn't gonna make it in because I felt like I bombed that interview. Like I was all over the place. So if you're going to do the interview process, because I know all of them have those, please, please, please go watch videos on how to get ready for an interview. Do some interview questions with people. And like, do that please, because baby, I should have done that. Out of everything that I did for this program to get ready, that's the one thing I failed on. So do that. For my interviews, like they ask like basic questions like, why do you want to be a dental hygienist? They talk about your college transcript or your high school transcripts to see like how your grades were. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, one of my schools, my grades were trash, but it was so long ago. And then they compared it to the college I go to now, grades, and they were like, oh, this is like night and day. Obviously you was doing something else back then and now you got your head on, so we could trust that you're gonna keep your head on to do this program. So yeah, that helped. They also ask, like, let's see, if you don't get into the program, what are your other options, or what else do you have in mind if you don't get in? They ask if you ever applied to a different dental hygiene program. I'm gonna tell y'all this right now, you should. You should apply. If you have plenty close to you, apply to all of them if you can. I didn't have many options for non-prereqs. Like there's 5 in this area, but there's only 2 that are non-prereqs. So I didn't apply to any other one but this one. That's not a good thing, because if I didn't get in, then I'd been screwed. But thank the Lord I got in, because I would have been screwed. So anyways, yes. That's pretty much all they ask. And then it's just a wait game to see if you get in. And they told me that it could take about 2 months to find out if I get in after my interview. Another thing that was great for me is that I got all my stuff in really early. They had even told me during my interview process that they were on their 2nd week of interviewing, and I was like really ahead of the game. So they were like, yes, we're really glad that you are proactive. That means that you're probably gonna be the same way in the program. And I kind of like during my interview talked about like my military experience and how that helped me get my head on right. And I guess that's what they like to hear. And maybe because I'm a vet too, why I got in, I don't know. All I know is I got in and I'm thankful. Yeah, so those were my steps on how I got accepted to the program. And if you're still here, go ahead and comment, like, and subscribe. And I will continue to do more videos like this as I go through the process. So like my next step right now is I have to do, like, I'm in the program now, and then the next steps after I got in were like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Like, it's not over yet. I still have other steps to do before the first day of class in September. So I will do another video as I finish all of those steps. Like right now, I'm still on that. I still gotta meet with the people of the school. I still have to do like a physical. You have to do a drug test, y'all. You have to do a drug test, you have to do a background check. So I still have to go through all those things first. And then I will be officially butt in seat. But yeah, like I said, this is my journey on how I got accepted to the program, and hopefully those of you who are planning to join the dental hygiene field also get accepted to your programs. I don't know much about like prereqs, but I would hope that you work really hard to get those A's so that you can be having your butt in the seat too. But if you guys have any questions on anything that I might have missed, or just anything you can think of, go ahead and comment down below and I will answer those as best as I can. Again, I'm not a dental hygienist yet, so I can't really answer any of that yet, but you guys can continue to join me on this journey and we will get it poppin'. All right, so go ahead and comment, like, and subscribe, and videos will be every Sunday.